Good evening, everybody. Welcome to October's meeting of the Holbeach Parish Council. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we continue. If fires break out or alarm sounds, our news exits are here and here. And if we can meet at the far side of the car park, which is clearly identified as the assembly point. During the meeting, please raise your hand to indicate that you would like to speak to debate an item. And the first 10 minutes of the meeting is dedicated to members of the public to ask any questions to full council. We may not be able to give you an immediate response, but we will aim to resolve the matter as quickly as possible. Now, looking at the participants here, welcome you all. Can I ask how many people are intending to speak this evening? 1, 2. Right, so we will start then with the first question. Who would like to start?
Mine's only a little one, Chairman.
Yes, please.
I've noticed on the agenda, item 99, it will be a question of going into private session with no public or press allowed. I take it that will be after items 100 and 101 and 102.
Yes, the closed session items are agreed, seconded and approved, and then they're held after all the remaining agenda items are approved. Thank you. Next question. Thank you.
As you might realise, I have been looking after veterans from our town and our county for 30 years. What has disappointed me the most is our local council has not had a parade in our town this year. For me, it is an insult of my 30 years of work for our town. In that 30 years, I have had the privilege for our town to be recognised all over the world. I have actually laid wreaths with the boys from the First World War at the Menin Gates. And one of my veterans had the privilege to do the honours to do a speech on that night. I've been to Arnhem at Oosterbeek to see 200 children looking after our graves of our fallen soldiers, the Parish. This I've done with pride. I've been to the American Cemetery at Omaha for 30 years, where I've been recognised by the White House for what I've achieved. And we cannot have a parade in our local town. On the beaches of Harromanchers in Normandy, and the Americans at Omaha, on D-Day alone, they lost 6,500 men that left our county and our country to fight for us. And in Harromanch alone, on D-Day, we lost 3,600 of our young lads from Lincolnshire and beyond our counties. This to me is an embarrassment of what I've achieved. And in Normandy alone, in 12 weeks of fighting, those boys left our shores of England, from America, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, to fight for our country. This morning at 8 o'clock, I had a veteran ring on Australia that's seen on their website and said how disgusting it was that I could not come to our town with our young lads and our last veterans. In my 30 years, I've lost over 3,500 veterans. I've lost 4 veterans in the last 3 months that I was proud to serve. In the 3 months of D-Day, from our beaches that they parted from to go to Normandy, we lost 26,000 young men. To me, it is a disgrace that we cannot walk through our town without us good veterans. I know from experience, in the next few months, or even a year, we will have no veterans left, because I've lost all my veterans over the years, and think it's a shame on the holidays of our veterans in our county of Lincolnshire that we haven't got the guts to let our veterans walk to our town on their final day. As I stand here tonight, I was at Scapa Flow a few weeks ago for our town and our people that have lost their brothers in our town. I was upset when I saw the ages of those young boys. 250 went down at 16, 17, 18 years old. I was that taken aback with it, but when I came home, I commissioned a sculpture to be sent from our town today to Scapa Flow. So it will be put up there on the Remembrance Day. So I say to our councillors, I am disgusted and amazed that you could not find the time or the effort for my soldiers that get their lives for this country, and especially our local boys. We lost 16,500 out of our county alone in Normandy. This is what you should be proud of, and you should honour their memories, which I have done for 30 years. So for me personally, I'm an ordinary person that's tried his damnedest to bring our county to the knowledge of our people from out the world. I have actually been awarded from the White House of America a gold medallion of the White House. That's what they think about me. I've been in Normandy on D-Day so many times, and one year I sat there with my veterans, and a gentleman come aside on me and said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I'm here to represent Holbeach and our county of Lincolnshire." He asked me all about what I did and what I've done in the years. He got up and shook my hand, and that was Prince William. In my lifetime I've met the Queen, I've met so many people who thank me, but our county cannot put a parade on for our young lads and our veterans at the end of their day. On June the 5th, I went to Normandy on the 75th anniversary with our children from our county, 60 of them. They laid 16,500 roses on our young boys' graves. One young boy was that keen to go, he couldn't get our coach, so he got his mother to bring him. He walked up to a grave with a rose in his hand. He put it on the grave, he stepped back 3 paces and saluted that grave. That's what it meant to our young children. And I had the privilege to do this, that you will see tonight. 16,500 roses on our boys' graves. And I had the privilege to be able to see in my landing ground a veteran that was there on D-Day to lay 12,500 roses on the sea for his mates that didn't make it ashore. And he told me when he went on D-Day the 7th, he saw all his mates floating in the harbour, face down, that got shot the day before. This is what remembrance is all about to me, and it should be for our council, and our county, and our country. I'll leave you with one thought, that I'm disgusted with our town and our county for letting you get away with it. Words do not express the way I feel tonight. If they did, I'd get chucked out of this place, because I think it's a shame and disgrace what you've done for our town, and as long as I live, I shan't forgive you. Thank you. And I will add this to it. Before Remembrance Sunday, I'm putting £5,000 in new gates on my memorial garden to remember the sacrifice that those young boys gave. Thank you.
Right, we're just coming up to the end of our 10-minute forum. Is there anybody else that would like to make a quick comment at all?
I'd like to.
Thank you.
On behalf of the Royal British Legion, we are having a parade this year. It's a static parade. That's because of the constraints that have been put around us. The act of remembrance is to remember all service personnel that have lost their lives, that have been hurt, that have been injured, and not just our veterans and our heroes, but anybody that's been affected by an act of terrorism, or as a result of an act of terrorism, for example, the Manchester bombing. We're there to remember all of those people as well. Thank you.
Okay, we're just going to just break for a couple of minutes just to wait for Rachel to come back and join us, and then we'll go into a normal meeting.